down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Get on board. We're soaring on top of the so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world and keep the sky on your mind. Get on board. We're soaring on top of
Hello. Welcome. All right. Hello. Welcome to today's stream. It's going to be a very, very simple stream. Just like yesterday's, I'm having a good time, having some relaxing flights here with the PMDG 777. Can't remember the last time I had relaxing flights on a flight sim. Excuse my voice. And for that reason, I've decided to continue this little thing here. Because I am really enjoying flying the 777. Alright, welcome to Doha everybody, where we are today. As you can see, I've got the inbuilt scenery there. We've got Banana Island off in the distance. And got Doha there off in the distance as well, looking very, very good. Skyline buildings, skyscrapers of Doha, and the airport in Doha looking absolutely gorgeous. So it looks really good, looks wonderful. And yeah, it's a good one. It's a good scenery. It is a good scenery, and here we are. Right, so let's go ahead and should we take a quick look around the airport now that we're here? We should do that, right? Let's take a quick look around the airport. Let's dip down here. Boop. Here we are. This is Idibil's Doha. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty decent, doesn't it? Right, it is a well-modeled airport here, and I've got everything turned on. So this is as good as it will look. It's good. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. It's a bit excessive in my opinion, if I'm being entirely honest. But as you can tell, this thing is really well modeled. We got the roof here. Oh, what? I thought we could. Oh, that's all the way here. My bad. It's sort of like a. There we go. Little indoor area there. We get rid of the zoom on the. Yeah, that's much better. So we got sort of like an indoor garden kind of thingy-majiggy going on here, and it's all modeled. We got the sunroof, sky roof, whatever you wanna call it. So that looks very, very good. All right, so today's aircraft is a PMDG, like I said, and we are parked somewhere here amongst the other traffic. The slightly darker one is the aircraft we're flying today. All right, there we go. There's our little aircraft. Looking good. The most beautiful airliner, in my opinion, is the 777. It absolutely looks gorgeous. The A350 is up there too, but this is just a gorgeous plane, isn't it? Look at that. All right. Without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, let's, you know what we'll do? Let's go ahead and take a walk around. A quick little walk around. Got external power connected up here. And yeah, all the covers have removed. Very nice detailing there on the livery. Some wear and tear there. Very, very good. Engines looking good. Absolutely massive engines. Beautiful G90. Shamit specs. Specs. Just put exclamation mark specs in the chat and you'll get the specs. Exclamation specs. Just type in exclamation specs and it will show you the specs of the PC. All right. So yeah, our aircraft is looking good here. Tail section absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Passengers for Qatar Airways.
Beautiful stuff. Look at that.
03 to London, Heathrow. Please proceed to gate A5.
Looking good. All right. Okay, without further delay, let's jump into our aircraft here. And as you can see, we're pretty much cold and dark, but we've got our GPU attached. So let's go ahead and come here and import our flight plan from SimBrief here. Let's take a look. There is our simple flight today to Dubai. We're going to use the ILS to land in. About 40 minutes of flying time estimated. We can go to our ground operations. We got chocks, we got ground power. That's all good. Weight and balance. We're going to import weight and balance from SimBrief there. Brilliant. If we come to our performance tool, we'll have a second to take a look at this. I'm buying my first PMDG. Okay, 777F few days later. All right. Okay, that is a good choice. 777F is a fun aircraft to fly. I would love to get the 777F as well, but spending another set of money on just another variant of this aircraft, it's too much for me. So I've decided to stick with my favorite 777-300. But the F is a very good choice. I love the 777F. It's really fun. Maybe one day I'll get it too. All right, let's go overhead here. Let us turn on the batteries, turn those external powers on, cabin utilities and seats and all that stuff. ADI-RU on. Nav lights are on already. Passenger signs can be turned on in advance. Window heats, I like to wait for them. So we're going to leave them off for the time being. Oh, I forgot to turn on my head tracking here. There we go. That's much better. Give it a bit more oomph there. A bit more realism. Right, so that's much better. It's too dark in here. Hold on. Okay, maybe I need to turn on the lights, huh? Give me a second. I shall turn on the lights so we have better head tracking. Just a second. There we go. We're back in business. We are back in business. Good. All right. A little bit of head tracking there going on. Excellent. So we don't need to turn anything else on here. What we can do now is we can wait for our screens to boot up, which is going to take a second here. Put those down there. And yeah, it's going to take a second for the screens to boot up here. I actually bought once through Marketplace since it was less price, but it had broken textures, no working controls, and much more. So buying from website again this time. Oh, that is a shame. You buying the same thing again? Shamit, why don't you email PMDG and ask for a transfer from Marketplace to their OC3? So you can download their OC3, and why don't you email PMDG asking them for a transfer of the purchase from the Marketplace to the OC3 because of the issues that you've been having. Okay, why don't you do that? And second thing is, if you can help it, you never buy it from the Marketplace. You never do. You always buy it directly from the vendor, which is what the big issue with the A340 release is going to be. The fact that it's only available on Marketplace for the first few months. Okay. So we've got all those screens there, all good, looking all good. No transfer available, so I refunded from Marketplace. Thankfully, I got money back. Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky you got your money back from the Marketplace. You're very lucky. You are very lucky. That's good. That is good. Then yeah, stick to the outside as much as possible. Unfortunately, there are some aircrafts which are only available on the Marketplace. That is a bummer. That is a bummer. So I'm really split about the new A340 because I really want to buy it and make some content on it, but at the same time, Marketplace purchase, man. I did recently buy another aircraft from the Marketplace, the NAMC YS11, but that one was pretty much only on the Marketplace, and it was like, it doesn't really matter. It's not that major of a purchase. Anyway, let's continue here with our setup. We can go ahead and press FMC there. Let's go ahead and tune this in. GPS position. Let's go back there, put that in. Excellent. Deshant, why? What's the problem if you buy from Marketplace? Lots of issues if you buy from Marketplace. First of all, a lot of things don't work. Occasionally you can have issues with the performance if you buy it from Marketplace. You got features that are restricted in the Marketplace. You've got some features which are completely unavailable if you buy from Marketplace. And you've got more customizability. You've got faster updates and all that stuff if you buy directly from the vendor. In the marketplace, updates take forever, stuff doesn't work. There is the convenience of it being on the marketplace, but apart from that, it has no advantage whatsoever to buy from the marketplace. It's actually less advantageous. I always buy outside if possible. Always. And that's something that you should do too. Always buy directly from the vendor. Also support the developer directly rather than paying good old Microsoft more money. Go to the developer directly. So yeah. Always, if you can help it, don't buy from the marketplace. A340 is really tempting. It is, man. It is. It's a shame that it's only available on marketplace, and that sucks. Well, they say for the first few months, then they're going to put it out for purchase, but what's the point? Then you got to run after transfers and this and that, which you can do on AnyBuilds Manager. You can actually transfer it, but it's a pain. Anna says, hello, how are you? I'm doing well, mate. How are you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. Good day, good day. OTHH is our departure today, and we're gonna land into OMDB first, which is Dubai. Let's go ahead and request this route. Route request. Oh, come on. What is it doing? What is it doing now? Huh? Have I put in something wrong? OTHH OMDB. No, this is correct. What is it? What is it talking about now? Okay, route request. There we go. Good. Set the payload, set the fuel, and select the route. Route requesting. Bravo Airspace is only on the marketplace. I had no choice but to buy it from there. Bravo Airspace. Which one are you talking about? Which aircraft are you talking about? Which aircraft are you talking about? Okay, let's load our route now. Route uplink loading. Let that happen. Let that happen. Still waiting. Okay, we can press activate, execute, and there we go. Dreamliner. Oh, you bought the Bravo Airspace Dreamliner. Right. Okay. All right. I understand. I understand. Yeah. The Bravo Airspace Dreamliner. Yeah, it's only available from the marketplace, but yeah, I don't have it, and it's not an aircraft I would exactly recommend. I don't know. It depends on what you're looking for. I usually tend to spend money on only the study level, or at least what they call expert level, or whatever that means. You know what I mean? So you've got Coronado is like generic level, but it's really well modeled, but it's by no means study. Anything above that is what I focus on. So Bravo Airspace Dreamliner, I'm not sure how it performs. Okay, anyway, so there we go. We've got all of that stuff. Let's go to departure arrival. For our departure today, we're going to take off from runway 16 left. We're going to use Allsay 2M or 2 mic right here. So that's fine. Let's execute that. Let's go back to our arrival here. Arrival is going to be into runway 30 left into Dubai. We're going to use the Vute 3C arrival. We're going to put that in. Old dot is fine. Let's execute that. Let's go to our legs. Let's see if we have any discontinuities, which I expect one. There we go. We're going to put that in there. Execute. Now we don't have anything. Let's go to accept our performance data here from SimBrief. Okay. Let's do that. And let's put our zero fuel weight in there. That's fine. Cruising altitude says 27,000 feet. That's not what I want. I want 21,000 feet today. Okay, I want 21,000 feet today as our cruising altitude, because that is what SimBrief tells us we should take. So I'm gonna, should I do 23? You know what? We can do 23. Let's do 23,000. Let's do 23,000 as our cruising altitude today. I don't want to do anything less than that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We have plenty of fuel. It's a short flight, not a big deal. Okay, so now is when we come and calculate what we need to. Runway taking off is 16 left. Okay, we need to ask the passengers to board. We haven't done that. Good lordy. So let's go ahead, request boarding here, please. The jetway is going to connect. Okay, the jetway is going to connect. That is wonderful. There's an A350 there. I would love to get my hands on the Inibils A350, but again, Inibils and their nonsense, I'm not too sure. I have become quite averse to the company at this point. I try to avoid Inibils if possible. So there we go. Okay, so we're connecting up here. We've got cargo loading coming into place. That is fantastic news. So what I'll do is, as the passengers come in, we're going to go ahead and start up our APU. But for now, we're looking okay. It's a very good looking jetway there. I must say, the scenery is very good from Inibils. It does work really well. So let's come back here. Import from the aircraft here. From the OFP, it's slightly lower. So let's do the aircraft import there. Import the weather. Let's calculate our performance data for today. Takeoff derating to 2, so we can do that. Flex select temperature 49. Okay, let's do 49. Do we have that? 49. Okay, outside air temperature is 35 degrees. That is correct, right? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Let's go towards takeoff. Flaps 5, I'm assuming. Let's check that again. Flaps 5, that is brilliant. 145, 150, 155. Let's go ahead and put in some more information here. Shall we do that? Center of gravity, trim 3.5. Let's see, what is the wind information? 87. Let's do that. 87 knots. Runway wind slope. Let's what is the slope here? Gradient is 0, so we don't need to worry about that. 0 right there. 4090 or 5080, which works better with MSFS 24? That depends on which resolution you want to run the game in, and whether you are just playing or streaming, etc, etc. What are you doing? Which resolution are we talking about? Okay, so we've got all of that. Reference outside air temperature is 35. Did I say outside? I meant outside, obviously. 35. Okay, now let's see what is it saying. 146, 150, 155. Okay, fine. Takeoff weight. I'm going to go with 482, 750, okay? So let's go 482.7. And let's put that back in, and there we go. We got better speeds there. If we come to our legs, we got VNAV available. That's brilliant. I think the passengers have begun loading at this point. Oh, they have not. What is GSX doing? What? Passenger boarded? How come we can't see the passengers? Oh, come on. Is it one of those days? We can't actually see the passengers, but apparently... Oh, that's why. Look at this. Look at this. Look at where our aircraft is spawned in. Look at this. I always have issues with GSX when it comes to the 777. Any PMDG product gives me issues with GSX, so look at this nonsense. Anyway, we're going to ignore that. We're going to go ahead and start up our APU here. Okay, there we go. Brilliant. Playing. Okay, which resolution? Are we talking about 4K or 2K? Are we talking about 4K or 2K resolution? Okay, let's put that in that mode there, which is what I like for takeoff. Let's put our local pressure today. It says it's 29.80 for local pressure. That seems about right. LNAV, VNAV, FT on. Speed here is supposed to be 4K. You need to go with, I think, 4090. I think you might need to go with 4090 for 4K. You need the extra VRAM. I'll have a look in just a second and confirm for you. 145, 50, 55, 175. I'll go 180 on the speed here. Okay, so let's go 180 on the speed. LNAV, VNAV. We're going to climb directly out to our cruising altitude of 23,000. So let's go ahead and do that. And put that back to automatic. So let me just have a quick look for you whether it's 4K that we are talking about or not. Let me have a look. What is the 5080 VRAM size? 5080 VRAM is... I'm still searching. It has 16 GB of GDDR7. The 5080 Super might feature 24 GB. Okay, interesting. I'm sure the 4090 has 24 GBs. Yeah, it has 24 GBs. So if you're going to get the 5080 Super, it might be worth it with the faster memory and 24 GBs of VRAM. However, if you're just getting the baseline 5080 with less VRAM, you should stick to 4090 with 24 GBs of VRAM for 4K MSFS 2024. That is my suggestion. It will work. If you're just playing, it will definitely work. So yeah, however, you also have to think about the fact that the 4090 is now a generation old. So also think about that when you're spending a lot of money on the graphics card. Anyway, so we've got all that going. We are fully set up here for takeoff pretty much. Let's go through our initial checklists. Oxygen testing, flight instruments, parking brake. We just make sure it's set. Oxygen. I'm just going to test this side for today. I'm not... Okay, you know what? Now that I've turned around, it's all good. There's another one here. It's fine. All right. Cool. Oxygen is done. Now it's the rest of the stuff. MCP is fine. Takeoff speed. CDU pre-flight is fine. That is fine. It's just the doors and the trim left for us to do here. Let's have a look. Our doors are still open, and I believe the passenger boarding... Has it finished? Boarding has been completed. Let's prepare for pushback and departure, ladies and gentlemen. Release ground power. Yes, please. We've got APU running. Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Safe travels. Thank you very much. You're very welcome, and thank you for the well wishes. Let's see how this goes. Okay, jetway disconnecting. Cargo door is still open. Hopefully it closes up sooner rather than later. It did work for me last time, so fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. Oh, come on. Close up the... Oh, yeah, I know why it's not doing that. I always make this mistake. Ground operations, we need to remove the chocks there. Okay, once that is done, that should get the cargo door to close. Still waiting. Mr. Cargo Door, are you going to... You know what I can do? Let's see if this works, right? Interrupt the pushback. Go back to GSX. And we'll prepare for pushback and departure. One more time. Does that get rid of the cargo door automatically? It should. It worked for me last time, and it's not working this time. Alrighty. Okay, I guess we'll just have to close the cargo door by ourselves then. Okay, just to confirm that we've got the actual weight of passenger cargo 31.7, load level 50. What do we have in passengers? 273. What do we have in terms of passengers? Let me have a look. 311 passengers, and we do have 311 passengers. That's good. That is good. That is good. We are good to go. Cargo door refusing to close. I'm going to go here. Go to door management. Close all. Come on, close up. Why is it taking so long to close? There we go. Okay. Good. Pushback is being connected. Brilliant. Nose, I want to go to the right today. So I'm gonna go inside, release the parking brake. If it will let me there we go. Come on, get our aircraft moving. There we go. We're being pushed back. That is fantastic. Let's go ahead and turn on our beacon lights, and we'll get those on here. Let's get the fuel pumps on here as well, and I'll get that going. Engine number 1. Alrighty. We're supposed to do the pitch trim before, but ignore that. I like to do it out of order. Okay, pitch trim is supposed to be 3.5, right? It is. Anyway, let's come here, wait for that. Flaps is supposed to be position number 5. Brilliant. Parking brake set. Emergency lights, aren't they armed? Did I forget to arm the emergency lights? I did, huh? Okay. Emergency lights are armed. Let's go to our checklist. Tick that off. Get the trim at 3.5, I believe. Let's have a look at that. 3.5, that is correct. So let's do that. To do 3.5, this is 4, that is 2, that is 3. So 3.5 is right here. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3.5, set correct. Let's put legs on that. Okay, auto brake to RTO. We need to make sure TCA is actually off. I don't know why the aircraft spawns with this thing on full blast. Anyway, there we go. Looking good. There's our marshal there. Hold on a second. All right, let's continue on our taxi here. Airport is looking absolutely beautiful. Get ourselves a little more closer to that. Love the 777 startup sound. Yep. Yes, I do. It's a really cool sound. The cabin sounds are really good as well. As we cruise along, the cabin sounds are really nice in this aircraft as well. That is something to look forward to. Okay. Let's continue our taxi. Lots of empty gates here. Obviously the traffic injection isn't doing its job as well. Alright, I'm not complaining right now about the performance. There's a little bit of lack of smoothness, but it's good. Do you fly the A350 as well? Unfortunately, I don't have an A350. Unfortunately, I don't have the any A350. I don't have the tallest. No, not tallest. Which A350 is there for? X-Plane 12. I don't remember. I don't fly that one because I don't have it, and I don't have the Inibils one either. So yeah, unfortunately not. I did think about getting it, but I'm still on the fence about the Inibils A350. I don't know if it's worth the money. See, if it was an X-Plane, I would have got it. Because it would be worth the money. APU is still running. We don't need that. Let's turn that off. Taxi lights need to be turned on. We didn't do that, but that's okay. It's a bright day today. Juan, what are you using for traffic injection? I'm using FSL-TL. I'm using FSL-TL. That is available through the fly-by-wire installer. You can inject traffic using the FSL-TL that's available through the fly-by-wire installer. Okay. How about an A380? I do fly the A380. Yeah, I have the A380 with a fly-by-wire A380. I fly it. Just not in 2024 because it doesn't work for me in 2024. It crashes. But I do have it in 2020 and I do fly it. If you guys want to see that, I can make that happen. Is handling an A380 harder or the same? It's slightly harder. It is slightly harder. It's more heavy. It's way more heavy than the 777. At least the way it feels in Microsoft Flight Sim. So. Okay. It's a fairly long taxi here today, huh? Yeah, fairly long. It's okay. We are doing just fine. Just give it a little bit more of thrust here. Let's see. We still have to make this turn though, so. Qatar Cargo Terminal, 2 hour left. Okay. That's what I've been using for a couple of years. I tried Beyond ATC this weekend and exceeded expectation and uses FSL-TL for injection. Okay, so you're saying that beyond ATC traffic injection is good? Because I've been considering buying beyond ATC as well. You have one of the most genuine subs in YouTube, because normally people don't like complicated stuff, but if they like it, they aren't leaving. Yeah, that is very true of the flight sim community. That is very true of the flight sim community. If you've got subs in flight sim community, they're not going anywhere. That is very true. Because I myself, I'm subbed to so many flight sim channels, and I watch like almost everything that I possibly can. So yeah, that's very true for the flight sim community on YouTube. It's true. On YouTube, people generally don't like complicated stuff. They want simple to understand, entertaining stuff usually. This is a niche. It's a very, very narrow niche. Okay. That is our final turn. Now it's just a straight all the way till our final turn onto runway 16L. Still a bit of way to go. As you can see, we are, it's a long runway. It's a 15,900 feet runway. Good Lord, that is long. That is long. Is in the MSFS, does it take the actual time as real life between distances? Yes. You can fly real time. Okay, the flights are real time. However, you can change the rate of time right here. Like, this is a panel that I have installed, by the way. It doesn't come default. You can change the sim rate without this panel as well if you have controls assigned. Okay, you can change it, but I've got the sim rate selector panel which I've installed, so you can change the rate at which time goes. If you're on a particularly long flight and you want to skip the cruise part and get to the destination quicker, you can do that. However, generally it's real time. For $30, would recommend. Nice for when sectors I want to fly aren't live on VATSIM. Yeah, I think beyond ATC is good. That's what I've heard from all of my viewers who've told me the same thing, that is really good. So yeah, maybe I'll actually get it. I will actually get it. As a matter of fact, I will. Just a matter of when. Okay, that reminds me, we didn't go through an overview of our route today. What's the total size of the game? Oh, it depends whether it's 2020, 2024, and whether you're installing it or streaming it. If you're streaming it, it takes about 60 GB or 16 GB to install, something like that. But if you're installing it on your PC, like 2020 is about 500 gigs for me. With everything installed, it's like 500 GB. 2024 is like 60 GB with everything installed. So when I mean everything installed, I stream. I don't download the aircrafts or the scenery, I stream. So depends on the game. Depends on the game. It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. So today's route, a quick look on little nav map for today's route. We're here at Doha. It's a very simple departure out here. Fly out to Cassis, and then from there's your departure ending at Alsam. Straight over the water, back into Dubai. Over the land, take a U-turn, transition at Uldot in there, and we've got our ILS here. 2,000 feet at Modus, and into Dubai we go at runway 30 left. Okay, very simple, straightforward, effective route here. So yeah, nothing much, nothing complicated. What's your country? If you're asking about country of residence or whatever. Juan, 45 GB for FSLTL models alone. Exactly. It is very, very large. What's your country? I don't like to speak about my country, man. Ever tried from Sydney to London? Sydney to London. I've tried from Sydney to Doha. I have not gone all the way from Sydney to London. In fact, I've done Sydney to Doha a couple of times, believe it or not, on the A380. I don't even know what possessed me to do that, but I did. I was testing it out for a few video ideas, but I have actually done that. But not to London. That is a long flight. This game is massive, huh? It really is. Just now that you mentioned it, 45 GB just for FSLTL, you're very right. It's just... it's a huge game. Anyway. I'm gonna hold short here for a second, not for too long. Let's put that on. TCAS can, let's take a closer look at our TCAS. TCAS here should be, let's go to TARA, that is perfectly fine, good. All 6 landing lights can come on, strobe lights can come on. Logo and wing lights, we don't need them today, of course we don't. Anything else we need to do before takeoff? Trim has already been set. Before taxi stuff is already done. Flight controls, we didn't check them. Okay, let's check our flight controls. If we're checking our flight controls, where is it? There it is. It's all good. I know it's all good because I checked it before the stream anyway. So we're good. We're good with the flight controls. Everything is working as it should. Brilliant. Rudder. Yeah, there we go. We're all good. Okay, we're good. That means we are pretty much ready to take off. So let's release that parking brake right there. Let's clean this up for takeoff so you guys have a better view. Swasti says, hello. Hello there, Swasti. It's been a long time since you tuned into one of my live streams. Good day. How are you doing? Long time no see. Long time no see. What was your longest flight? In Microsoft Flight Sim? If you're asking me about Microsoft Flight Sim, my longest flight would have been, what? 15 hours? 15 hours, something like that? Yep, Anas, let's go indeed. Okay? But if you're asking me about like lifetime, I think it's about, like in the 15-hour flight, I remember I fast forwarded bits of it. So it wasn't a full 15-hour flight. Now, if you're asking about full-on real-time flying, I remember I did a 13-hour flight once. 13-hour, 48-minute flight once. That was from San Francisco to Qatar, if I'm not mistaken, but that was in flight gear, so very different. All right, so we're pretty much ready to go here. Let's go ahead and set our thrust. And out we go. $100 knots. Rotate. Off to the side of the runway there. That's okay. Gear up. There we go. We're looking good. Can put our flaps up to position number 1. I'm good. Glad to finally join a live stream. Flying your favorite route, I see. Yes, it is. It is one of my favorite routes. Oman, Doha, Dubai. After you learn to fly a plane in MSFS, you can pretty much fly it in real life. That is debatable. It depends on the aircraft. It depends on the aircraft. Flaps up fully. We can give it off to the autopilot at any second. I'm just holding on to it for no reason at this point. Okay. That is debatable. Depends on the aircraft. There's some that get you pretty close, but X-plane is more realistic than MSFS. So I would say if you learn to fly it in X-plane, perhaps you can fly it in real life. For example, there is the Hotstar, the 650 Hotstar, Challenger 650. That, if you know how to fly that in X-plane, you probably know how to fly it in real life. That is a good aircraft. Let's give it off to the autopilot. Autopilot on, passenger sign still on. Auto brake off there. Come back to checklist. Checklist complete. Go back to engines. Everything else looking pretty much good here. We can turn on the weather if we want to. Speed, LNAV, VNAV path, everything looking good here. We are looking fantastic. Let's look out our window there. Leaving behind Doha. There we go. The airport is right there. Looking good. Looking good. Any study level you definitely can. Debatable again. Debatable again. Because it depends. In X-plane, I would say yes for sure, but MSFS, I'm not so sure. But yeah, it's not like it would be clueless. If you throw me into a real 777, I would know how to kind of do it. You know what I mean? ever played Forza? I have played Forza, but I don't play anything else on this channel though. I don't play. I'm not a big gamer, if I'm being honest. I do play Fortnite, which is my guilty pleasure, if you know what I mean. I like playing Fortnite with friends. So yeah, taxi light can come off. We don't need that nonsense. 5,000 feet. I think there's an altitude restriction. Yes, there is. My guilty pleasure is Fortnite. Apart from that, I don't really play any other games. I'm just a flight sim guy. I stick to that pretty much, you know. I have thought about starting other channels for some ship simulation and truck simulation and all that. I do have a couple of other stuff as well, but beyond that, just flight sim really. Okay, here we go. We're making that little turn there. People playing MSFS are the most patient because most of the time there's nothing to see outside. That depends again. If you're flying VFR, there is so much to see. I don't know if you've checked out my VFR videos or live streams. I'll do one quite soon actually. I'll be able to switch on to a GA aircraft and we'll do a VFR flight. You have so much to see when you fly VFR in MSFS. In my opinion, the only real advantage MSFS has over X-Plane is the VFR flying. But yeah, there is plenty to see. Obviously, in airline flying, especially when you're flying over the water like this flight, there's nothing but pristine waters to see. Look at that. It's literally just blue everywhere. But anyway. We're crossing 6,000 feet. Our transition should be around 13,000 feet. But everything else in the cabin is looking very, very good. My favorite airliner is not giving me any trouble so far. Everything up here is looking fantastic, as it should. Okay. We'll wait. Let's switch to some cinematic views, or we'll wait for 10,000 feet before we do that. Yeah, let's wait for that. Let's wait for that. Go, leaving behind Doha. There's the airport there, which we just left behind. It's still drawing in some of the buildings. And there it disappears slowly. There we go. Please do a quick belly view of the aircraft for me. Yep. There you go. Beautiful belly views there. We'll have a few more cinematics very, very soon. We'll go into some detail there. You can see the airport off to our left there. Okay, we need to get back into the cockpit. I'm pretty sure we've crossed 10,000 right in time. Turn the landing lights off there. Every other light can remain on. We're coming up on transition altitude, after which we'll do cinematic. Some cinematic views. And today's flight is not long at all. So if we increase the range here, oh sorry, that is not increasing the range. Right here, you'll see the top of descent is right here. That is about 80 nautical miles away. That's it. That is pretty much it. Distance to go, it says 185, right? Distance to go, 184 nautical miles. We'll be arriving in about 29 minutes into Dubai. So it's a very short flight today. Cruise speed achieved there, nearly. We're looking good. Let's come down here and press progress on this one. There we go. To top of climb, 48 nautical miles. No, it's not going to be 48 nautical miles to the top of climb. That is wildly inaccurate. Why are we taking that long to climb? Okay, maybe it is. I don't know. Come on, give me my transition altitude. So I can go out and enjoy some views here. 13,000 feet has just passed. Still hasn't passed the transition altitude. That's interesting. There we go, transition altitude. Press standard, and we've got standard on both sides. Let's go enjoy some cinematic views, guys. Cinematic. There we go. Al-Qatari. There's that beautiful belly view there. Very, very good. Just blue everywhere. Okay, and we continue on towards our flight, towards our destination, sorry. And it won't be long. We'll be there very, very shortly. Our cruising altitude has been reached, I believe. Or are we close to it at least? We're at 21,000 feet again. Why is that? I thought we said 23. Oh, good lord. Not the same issue again. We'll leave it at 21 for today then. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that. 23,000. Okay, it is correct. I think there's an altitude restriction. That's all it is. Yep, there's an altitude restriction. There must be. Yep. Okay, so we have an altitude restriction after which we'll be climbing on towards 23,000 feet. So that's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. So we're just holding. There is that restriction coming up. After that, we'll be fine. Okie dokie. Tyler, I want to thank you for the sub about 30 minutes ago, mate. I did not see that. Thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it very much. Tyler, thank you. Are my alerts working? I don't know if they are. Okay, are we continuing our climb yet? Yes, we have begun to continue our climb there. If you look at the VS at the top of the nav bar, there we go. We are climbing on towards our actual cruising altitude of 23,000 feet. And brilliant. You know what? Let's take this time. Let's take this time to gander around the cabin in cinematic mode, okay? So we're going to open this up and we're going to go into the cabin in cinematic mode. Let's take a look around. Shall we do that? Oh, look at this. Does this panel actually work? I wish it did. That would have been so cool, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work. It sucks. That sucks. But yeah, here we are. Obviously the cabin isn't modeled. Although again, just like yesterday, we've got the entertainment system loaded up, but the rest of the cabin isn't modeled according to the airline. So I need to find some better liveries for the airlines here for PMDG 777. This is the default Qatar that's available from the operations center for PMDG, but it's not a good livery because we need the interior of the thing modeled, right? So yeah, very nice though. The textures are quite good. So we fly around here in the cabin, looking good. Very nice. Very, very nice. Can't open any of this. There's not a lot of interaction inside the cabin in PMDG, but you know, pretty good. It's definitely my favorite airliner to fly. I'm not talking about the PMDG model particularly, I mean the 777 in general. Galley area. Okay. Perfect time for some coffee and all that stuff. Let's go towards the end there. Okay, I really wish these worked. That would have been so cool to get the lighting and stuff correctly. But yeah, you know. There we go. A large aft galley here. Probably the largest space here in the aircraft, maybe. Perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, let's head back into the cockpit. And there we go. There is our top of descent. Not far away at all. Less than 40 nautical miles. This is a very short flight. When is your next crazy stunt flight coming out? That's a good question. That is a good question. Well, I can tell you that my next crazy flight is probably going to be landing the Flight FX Cessna from 30,000 feet, or it's going to be a thunderstorm landing. But as for fighter stunt flights, I'm not sure. I need to get my hands on a new fighter to make that happen. Unfortunately, I need to do that to make that happen. But yeah, if I do get my hands on a good fighter, that's something I'll get to working on as soon as possible. Because I do have some city scenery packs that I have installed as well that I haven't really used. So I'll be looking forward to using those in a stunt flight. So yeah, let's see. There is something called the US Cities, and I want to install that. There are 3 volumes of it, and I want to have all of them installed. Then we can do a stunt flight with a new jet. Fortunately, the F-35 is not very good at stunt flying, so yeah, that is the situation update on the stunt flying. What a gorgeous aircraft. The 777, can't hate it. You cannot hate on the 777, ladies and gentlemen. Just gonna take a quick screenshot here. Excuse that. There we go. What's that for? Just city upgrades? City packs, yeah, they give you like the skyscrapers and the buildings and all that stuff. So very useful for stunt flying. That's what it's for. Just taking a quick few screenshots here. You'll see a freeze and that's it. There you go. I probably need to update the thumbnail. Okay, so we are very close to our top of descent now. As you can tell, it's less than 20 nautical miles away. Yeah, it is very, very close. Top of descent is 32 nautical miles away, so about 20 nautical miles away, more or less. So let's go ahead and tune ourselves, set ourselves up for the landing that we need, right? So to do that, what I'm gonna do here is to tune that in. What am I gonna do? Top of descent right there, yeah. Okay, let's check our destination data, see what it says. Flap speed, we're going 30, 138 knot. QNH for landing reference. OTHH 16L is there. That's not our approach. It's supposed to be OMDB, right? I don't know why it's saying that. I don't know why it's saying that. Departure arrival. It's selected. Yeah, the right one is selected, so it's interesting. Flaps right there. Thrust limit. We are okay. Approach. 473 is our landing speed. Okay, that's all right. Let's have a look at our checklist quickly. Checklist before descent. We've got recall. That is, let's do the recall right now. Recall is done. Passenger signs are still on. I didn't bother turning them off, so that's fine. Notes checked. Auto brake. We'll do that right before descent. Landing data check. Approach briefing completed pretty much. So let's see. Yeah, just 20 nautical miles away. Okie dokie. There we go. Very short flight. I love this route. Dubai, Doha, Muscat. Doha, Dubai, Muscat. This entire area is just gold for me. I wanted to get Abu Dhabi scenery as well, but I can't really decide what to do with that. I need to get some good Abu Dhabi stuff as well, so we can fly that as well. It's my favorite region to fly. Weather is always great. What's the FMC message? Reset MCP altitude. What is our final descent altitude for the MCP? It is 2,000 feet. Let's go ahead and do that. 2,000 feet. There we go. 2,000 feet, that's done. Yeah, that's 2,000 feet that we need. That is perfect. Let's go to our nav radio. Make sure we have the right frequency set for our approach here. The ILS frequency. ILS is supposed to be 111.30 at course 299. 111.30 at course 299 is absolutely correct. So we are set for landing here, ladies and gentlemen. We can go through our landing here, sort of like an approach brief. So, flying into VUTEB, then we're going to go to Lovelock. We're going to fly parallel downwind to the runway, pretty much. Down the runway heading. We're going to pass Dubai. The main city of Dubai is right here. So we'll catch a good glimpse of that. Then we'll fly out over largely empty areas here. And then we'll take a U-turn and come back in for our landing. Okay, there we go. Not a big deal at all. So at modest 2,000 feet. That's pretty much all we need to remember. Good. Let's put that away. Top of descent coming up. Is it going to automatically follow the VNAV path? I think it should, right? There we go. We got speed reducing there. Are we going to follow it? Are we going to follow it? Yes, we are. We have begun descent, ladies and gentlemen. Descending into Dubai. Look at that wing flex. It is going to be a manual landing here today, and I hope to God that Sky Dolly works today. I really want Sky Dolly to work today. I just hope it does, because yesterday it didn't work. It did not work with the PMDG. Again, PMDG gives me issues with almost every add-on anyway. That is a shame. Look at that beautiful wing flex. We can see the coast of the United Arab Emirates right there. Couple of offshore islands as well. Looking really good. Okay. Going into the cockpit, we are descending well. Have you ever done a water emergency landing? No, I have not done a water emergency landing. I have crashed in the water by mistake and floated on it. That's happened. That has happened. Water emergency. I should attempt it. I will try attempt it. I think we need some drag here. There we go. FMC is requiring some drag. Let's put that back down. Auto brake to position number 2, please. There we go. Set with auto brake. Now it's just approach altimeters and that's it. And that is enough. There we go. Looking good. Just 3,000 more feet to go towards setting our altimeters pretty much. Can this actually change? Oh, look at that, it can. Inboard display, nav, MFD, PFD. Interesting. Okay. FMC is on automatic. I'm just messing around with that for a bit. Very, very nice. Look at us descending. And there is UAE right ahead. What a beautiful picture. It really is a beautiful picture, huh? It's wonderful. There we go. We've hit our transition altitude. So let's go ahead and put that away. What is the local altitude at the moment? 29.75. Does that seem right? 1,007. Yeah, it is. 29.75 seems about right. Let's see what it looks like as we come into land. I was planning to do a video on the Hudson water emergency landing. I had it all planned up and stuff, but for some reason something happened and it didn't end up happening. I'll give that a second try. 12,000 feet. I'll check off the altimeters for the time being. Okay. A bit of drag. Let's give it a bit of drag. Help it slow down a little quicker. Although we don't really need to. We're pretty much on top of the altitude, aren't we? Yeah, we're alright. Let's see, what do we see ahead of us? Can we catch a glimpse? There's the airport right there. I can tell that's the airport. That is OMDB. Obviously, nothing's drawn in yet. We're well above the draw distance at the moment, but nonetheless, you can see that is OMDB right there, where we're going to be landing into. Cool, very cool. Okay, still at 12,000 feet. Let's put that down to 40. Let's put that down as well. Looking good. Got more clouds as we come in over land here. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a hazy landing. Not perfect visibility. I don't know what the conditions are right now in Dubai. Let me have a look at. We're still pretty much. It is VFR. It's VFR, so visibility isn't poor. That's good. I think you guys need to be able to see as I play around with different windows, like checking the weather and stuff, right? I need to be able to show you guys that stuff. That is where I'm getting my weather from. In case you're wondering, that is where I'm getting my weather from. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay. Is that Sharjah? Yes, it is. That is Sharjah. That is Dubai. And there we go. Brilliant. Why are we still at 11,000 feet? There's an altitude restriction. It says below 11,000. Interesting. Interesting. There is our missed approach procedure right there. And the hold. And there's our runway. Nice and easy. $10,000 feet coming up pretty much. Let me go ahead and turn on our landing lights. Do we need any other lights on at the moment? No. Everything else is looking good. Okay, let's just continue enjoying some views till we have something to do here. Look at that right there. Look at how beautiful we look. All right. Let's now get into our flight. We're pretty much flying over Dubai here. Let's drop our flaps to position number 1. Actually, put our slats down. Let's do that. Beautiful. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Can put our flaps down to position 5. Let's take a look at that. Looking good. What a beautiful scene. I gotta take a screenshot of that. Excuse me. It's too good not to take a screenshot, you know what I mean? Looking good. Okay, let's jump in the flight deck. I want to make sure that the aircraft doesn't get away from me too quickly. 6,000 feet, everything is looking good. Yeah, everything is looking just fine. Next time, can you try the direct approach from the ocean? Sure, the next time I fly into Dubai, I shall fly in directly from the water straight into runway 12 left or right. I believe in Dubai is the one that we're talking about. Yep, we'll fly into runway 12 right the next time. Okay, let's see how that goes. Good. Very good. Look at us. Look at us. They have Microsoft Flight Sim has recently, I've seen it only in 2024. I'm yet to check and confirm in 2020. I have seen that the scenery around Dubai has been updated. Obviously, there has been no world update or anything like that in this region, but more details have popped up and more buildings have popped up. So Dubai now looks very, very rich and quite detailed all of a sudden. So that is something good to see. Here we are flying over the more empty areas out towards the desert before we take our U-turn. If we look ahead, look at that. That is a very, very interesting terrain ahead of us, isn't it? Let's take a look at it. Let's take a gander at it. Come on. Hide those alerts there. Look at how gorgeous that looks. Let's focus on that for a second. Focus on that for a second. Look at that. That is some good stuff, isn't it? Yeah, that is really good. Beautiful. Man, that looks so real. The only issue I have with MSFS, and I've said this before several times in various streams, the only issue with the graphics that I have right now with MSFS 2024 is that the contrast is too high. If there is a way to adjust the contrast and make it less, you've got yourself an absolute winner. Like, for example, if you look at this image, the thing that makes it look so gamey is the fact that the contrast is too high. It's not the lack of detail, it's the fact that the contrast is way too high. If the contrast is cut down, or if there's a way to do that indeed, then you've got yourself a winner. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Too good not to take a screenshot. There we go. Then you've got yourself a winner. If there is a way. I know that you can use your NVIDIA game filters, but unfortunately that doesn't show up on the stream, which defeats the purpose as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I really want to find a way. I think you can use Reshade. Oh yeah, there is Reshade, right? Oh yeah, I can download Reshade. We can just use Reshade for that. Oh, forgot about that completely. I'll give it a shot. I'll try Reshade and adjusting the contrast, because then it's going to look so real. It's going to look so, just a few points down on the contrast and it's going to look absolutely realistic. Okay, this is a long approach here, huh? Let's get back into our flight deck here. Ooh, how gorgeous is that? Right in time for the turn too. Let's take a look at this. Look at that. That is beautiful. We've spent now about half as much time in the approach into Dubai as much as we have flying to Dubai from Doha. Yeah, we literally have done that. We should be landing in roughly 7 minutes now, so that isn't long. That's probably the longest approach I've seen into Dubai. Well, guess what, Mr. Anas? This is not the longest approach into Dubai. There is in fact a much, much longer approach into Dubai than this, where you literally take a snake patterned an S turn and then one more final turn into the runway. So it is much longer than this. Here we are only performing one little loop. There we perform, I think, 3 loops. So there is a longer approach, much longer approach into Dubai than this. And sometimes I use it when I fly from Oman to Dubai. So you might be able to catch it on the channel somewhere when I'm flying from Oman to Dubai. It might be there. Believe it or not, Dubai is such a busy airspace that you need this. But look at how gorgeous the place we're flying over is. Come on, look at that. Such lovely, beautiful terrain. Despite the subpar texture resolution from MSFS 2024, which is getting better by the way, look how good that looks. That is looking absolutely fantastic. And that's great. Okay, so we're pretty much lined up with the runway. Okay, we're at 3,000 feet, somewhere there. Can we get the stats back, please? Sure, we can get the stats back. There you go. Let's actually go back to the normal mode here. We're at flaps 5. Our speed is still, we're just continuing the way we should at the moment. Glide path has still, it's still a long way away, so don't need to worry about any of it. Let's reduce the range on this one. Right there. We'll increase the range on this one. Right there. There's the runway, I believe. That's much better. Quick look outside. Oh yes, look at that. We're so far away from the city, we can't see anything yet. Okay, I think I see the runway ahead of us. I think I see the airport. Yeah, that is the airport. It hasn't loaded in. We're still too far away for all that. Okay, looking good. We're traveling so slowly as well. It's typical for this range. We are 20 nautical miles away from the runway. From the airport at least. Roughly 20 nautical miles away. Let's have a look. Is that correct? To destination, 17 nautical miles away. There we go. There we go. 3,000 feet at 20 nautical miles is like double the distance we're supposed to be at. We'll roughly be, usually it's 3,000 at around 10 nautical miles, I would say. So that's fascinating to see there. We're supposed to be above 2,000 in 4 nautical miles, which we will be. And that is the glide path, I believe. Let's try localizer first. Localizer. What am I doing? There we go. Localizer. Localizer caught. We are lined up with the runway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to approach on this. Okay, so we can see our glide slope is well on top of us, so we don't need to worry.
2,500.
Looking good. Let's take a final look around. 2,500. Oh, we don't have time for cinematic anymore. Let's take a look at that. Best of luck. Thank you very much, mate. Let's see. Obviously, it's going to be a manual landing. We are 2,300 radio altimeter. Our minimums should be 200. No, it's at 400. I want it at 200. Come on, give me 200 minimums. Okay, there we go. Altimeter is correct. We can turn on approach mode, catch the glide slope. Let's bring our flaps down, shall we? Let's take a look at that. There we go. Going down towards flaps 20. If we need to drop the flaps any further, we have to put our gear down, which we will as soon as we catch the glide slope. Okay. Oh, I need to run sky dolly. You know what? I'll do that after the gear. I'll do that after the gear this time because I don't want any issues with it. There we go. Still no glide slope, so we're gonna hold for our gear now. You know what, we're almost there, so let me go ahead and make this happen. Gear. Landing gear down. There we go. Flaps down to 25. Right now. Okay, that didn't seem to do anything. There we go, flaps going down. Let's bring our speed down here to 100 and... What is our reference speed? 138, right? So I'm gonna keep it at 140. Put our flaps down to full. There we go, flaps going down, ladies and gentlemen. Here we come into land. Brilliant, a quick look on the other side. Brilliant, a quick look ahead of us. Runway coming up. Glide slope has been caught. Brilliant. We are ready to land and run sky dolly. Sky dolly is running at the moment. Hopefully it works. Let's find out. 1300 feet. I need to take control, don't I? So let me go ahead and take control. My aircraft. Coming in, bit over the glide slope there. Localizer is way off to the right. We'll be okay, we have full visual here. The aircraft isn't trimmed out properly though, so that is an issue I'm having. It's okay. Why are the poppy lights telling us that we are too high when we're in fact slightly too low? It's fascinating. We're not too high.
300. Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow.
Ignore the glide slope.
Glide slow. Glide slow.
Yeah, that is so wrong.
Glide slow.
That is so wrong.
Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow. 20, 10.
Okay. Reverse thrust. That glide slope screwed us up, didn't it? I don't know. PMDG reverse thrust always gives me issues as well, so excuse me on that one. Okay, auto brake is doing its job. We are just fine. 80 knots. We can let go of the reverse thrust if we want to. There we go. Ooh, excuse me. There we go. That is messed up. Did you see how the glide slope was giving us so much issue there? That is messed up. That is messed up. All right. I'm not going to touch the aircraft. I'm not going to clean it up, and there's a good reason why. I need to be able to play the replay. So excuse me because I'm not going to clean up the aircraft. I'm gonna put the Qatar Airways. I know this is supposed to be Emirates here, but I think we're gonna park it somewhere there. All right, let's go park it somewhere there. And after we're done with that, we'll take a look at the landing replay. Then we'll clean up the aircraft. So that's why I'm leaving it exactly the way it is. Anas says, yep, but still a brilliant recovery. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we're going to leave our stuff pretty much like this. Auto brake, speed. Oh, we didn't arm the speed brakes, did we? Ooh, we made a mistake while landing. We didn't check the landing checklist. I remember we did not arm the speed brakes. So that is a mistake on my part. That's what happens when the approach is so long that you forget. But yeah, I did not arm the speed brakes there. I know that for a fact. So yeah, that is my mistake there, ladies and gentlemen. However, we are in safe, so no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. There's a good reason why I didn't become a commercial pilot. It's because, well, I'm a little bit of a monkey wrench. Okay, let's make that turn there. We'll park our beautiful aircraft in here. At gate F23, right next to the Saudia. There we go. Let's do that. That is some messed up parking. I need to get some new scenery for OMDB, man. This is the default MSFS scenery, which isn't bad, but I feel like since it's the home base of the channel, we should have a lot more than just this default scenery. Okay, so I'm just gonna, since we don't have a marshal, I'm just gonna let our aircraft come in slowly here. Come on, big guy. I'm just gonna let it actually go past that line because I don't want this sticking out. We've still got some room here. Come on in. There we go. That's much better. That is much better. And there. Okay, that's where we'll leave it. Let's put that on. Brilliant. Okay, so before we do anything else now, let's go ahead and take a look at our landing replay. And let's see how that went. So, Sky Dolly, come on. Please work. Yes, it has worked this time. We have landing replay. I had such a good landing yesterday and it didn't work, and today it decides to work when the glide slope decides to screw with us. Anyway, I'm not complaining. Let's rewind this. Please excuse the lack of spoiler deployment because I did not arm them. It's pretty cool. Okay, we got someone on the runway there. Okie dokie, so somewhere there. That looks good. Okay, so we'll start our replay from here, and before I do, let me get rid of the traffic there, right? So I'm just gonna say remove nearby traffic, and let's try. Landing replay, everybody. Let's see how that went. Okay, that was interesting. Let's have a look at that again. Okay. Oh, very nice. That is very beautiful. Very, very nice. Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, once again. Oh, the spoilers did deploy. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess they automatically deploy when you do reverse thrust, I believe. I'm not so sure, but that, yeah, they do. Okay, so we don't have an issue. The spoilers worked just fine. Great. It's good news. Let's rewind back to right there. Let's take a look at it from this view here. Here we go. Landing replay number 2 into Dubai. Runway 30 left. That was smooth. Thank you very much, Kundai. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yep, that was a good landing. That definitely was a good landing. Wasn't perfect, but it was good. Okay. Very nice. Let's now go ahead and take a look at a few other landing replays, perhaps from the gear, and then we'll go inside, take a few look at the cabin and dash of the cockpit. So we'll have a few, we'll have a good look at it. Let's go back right here. Let's check out this view. Also note, this is PMDG, so the brakes are going to overheat just because of the landing replay. So yeah, note that the brakes didn't actually overheat while we were flying, but because of the landing replays, they're gonna overheat. So we can ignore that. That was really close there. And there we go. Right after the touchdown zone. Perfect. The 777 is very, very smooth when it comes to landing anyway. So yeah, that was really good. Let's quickly take a few more looks at it from right here. Let's go towards the dash. Ignore any warnings.
Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow.
Yeah,
Glide slow.
we did have that,
Slow. Terrain.
but that was completely messed up.
Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
This is why I need a better scenery.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Beautiful. And we've got the landing gear malfunction that comes from PMDG. We can totally ignore that. That is not a problem at all, because every time we replay the landing, the PMDG aircraft doesn't register that it is a landing, so we keep applying the brakes and it overheats. Not a problem. Let's go back, take last two landing replays. Second last landing replay. Look at that engine wobble right there. Beautiful. That was good. That was a good landing. Excellent. We'll take a look at it from the other side now. And this is the final landing replay. Oh, that was really smooth. Very smooth touchdown. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that little trip there into Dubai. Hope you guys had fun. Let's now go ahead and shut down the aircraft and request deboarding and stuff like that. All right. So I'm just going to fast forward this all the way to our parking there, and let's begin shutting down stuff, deboarding, and we'll take a quick gander, just a couple of seconds, and then we'll call it. All right, back to the flight here. Let's put our flaps up, ignore all the warnings there about brake temperature and all that stuff. Flaps fully up. Brakes down there, that's fine. Just making sure it's all good. That off there. Landing lights off, taxi light should have been on, but whatever. Okay, we can get the APU running, so let's do that right now. Start up the APU for a second. Let's wait for the APU to begin running here. Let's go to ground operations. Let's come here. Okay, there we are. Just waiting for the APU to boot up here. While that happens, we're just gonna take a quick look at where we are. So let me just reset our traffic injection here. There we go. Can get some fresh traffic in. If that's gonna work. Apparently not. Let me restart it. Some traffic injection. Come on. Okay, we've got some traffic injection going, and look at the beautiful city of Dubai right there. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys had a good time on today's flight. Our APU should be up and running by now, so let me get in there. Is APU running? APU is running. Okay, let's go ahead and shut down those engines. There we go. Engines have been shut down. Okay, let's request deboarding here by GSX. If it works. Okay, we can put the parking brakes on. They were on. I guess the replay mode turned them off. That's fine. Loading menu. Request deboarding, please. There we go. We've got our jetway connecting, which is beautiful. Let's set the chocks here. Let's request ground power. TARA, we've put that on standby. That is great. Weather radar is off now. I believe it is. Let's go back to map mode. Let's put that back the way it is. Weather off, please. If we come up here, we can turn all of this off. Window heats can come off. That can come off. Fuel pumps can come off. Cabin utilities and in-flight entertainment can come off. ADA-RU there can come off. We've got external power available, so we'll connect them up for the time being. Now, if we look at our checklist, all of this was done. Let's just checklist override this. Okay, normal checklist next is parking brake. That is also done. And then we've got securing the aircraft. We've got emergency lights off. We need to do that. No, we need to put them off. There we go. And it's just packs. So we can turn off the packs if we want. Left pack, right pack, and the recirculation fans and all that stuff. Packs are off though. So we've got that complete, normal, done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. We can also turn off our APU. We really don't need it. Okay, we can turn off all the bleed airs. We don't need those either. There we go. You can leave the entire section off if we want. Doesn't matter. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And deboarding once again, but we're not seeing anything here, are we? GSX, deboarding passengers now, okay? Let's see if any passengers actually show up for the deboarding process. Are they actually going to show up? Hello, deboarding process. Are you actually going to show up? Will you be able to show us some passengers or not? I don't see anything. Are the doors open? Door management. Resource. Okay, I get this every time I come into Dubai. Okay, so there's a little bit of an issue here. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Not going to mess with it too much. I get this every time I come into fly into Dubai for some reason. Okay. Let me also turn off my head tracking here. There we go. Alright guys, if you guys enjoyed that, please do leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. Ooh, look at that. Swasti says you had no passengers in the cabin mid-flight, so I doubt passengers will show for deboarding. That is a good point. That is a good point. However, GSX did show boarding, so I'm not so sure. So we got some issues as we fly into Dubai here. I don't know. I only have this issue when I fly into Dubai, so I need to replace the scenery here in Dubai. The frame rates there. Nonetheless, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Once again, everybody who was in the chat, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the sub. Everybody who subbed, thank you very much. I hope you guys had a good time. I sure hope to catch you guys in the next one. Check out my videos. So yeah, do like and subscribe. Have a good day, and I shall catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.